On this morning,
Why are you the Cowboys?
Here we go. Dak and Dallas visiting Jared Goff and the Lions on a night filled with huge plays, explosive plays. Midway through the first, here comes one of the big ones. Jack Campbell. Dan, it looks like a safety.
Yeah, it is a safety. This is a bad job by the officiating. The ball's clearly at some point touching that white line on contact, but it's kind of a foreshadowing of what the plan.
2 yards, and it leads to this. Turn off the lights. That's Jameer Gibbs.
Look at the block.
Third touchdown of the night.
Perfect. Dad just took another shot, Greeny. We good.
Bart Scott Sr. in Detroit on that yak in a good way last night. 44-30, the Lions win. So where does this leave the Cowboys is what I'm sure you're wondering. They still have a chance to make the playoffs, but they have a slim margin for error. That 51% chance to make it is in the case that they win out. They have 4 games left. If they win them all, there's still only a 50-50 shot to get in. This was a devastating night for Dak and company.
At this point, I don't know if I could say we control, you know what I mean, like our own destiny. I know it was not a stretch saying that before, but pretty sure, right, if we won out, like we were going to have a pretty damn good record, only having, right, 5 losses, 1 tie. Adding the 6, being 6-6 right now, 6-6-1 with what, 5 left now? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, especially with just the way some of the divisions are shaped, the North, the West, we're going to need some things to happen for us.
Are you going to tell them?
Which is what? It's 4 left,
Yeah.
but they have not
But
5.
Somebody got to tell them. It's a wrap, bro.
I mean,
Start planning them trips to Cabo. It's over.
the Cowboys are not going to get there, even if they win out. You don't believe 10-6-1 gets them into the playoffs?
That one is going to kill them, and they're going to go back and they're going to look at the Carolina game, right, and they're going to look at the Arizona game of their opportunity. They had to be perfect to get where they needed to go, and yesterday was a make-or-break game, and the Lions came out as the more desperate team, understanding what they had just faced, and that's really what the difference is. You know, you talk about the red zone, 1 for 3 in the red zone. I mean, we love Arbery, but we saw way too much of them. And that's the difference. And the difference is also once Pickens, once CeeDee Lamb went out, there was nobody else to save the day.
Okay, so let's go to the top of it here.
Yep.
Harry, how did you describe what we saw from the Lions last night and not the Cowboys?
So I thought the Detroit Lions did a great job of playing like they were starving and they needed food to be able to survive. That's exactly what we've seen. The Dallas Cowboys, on the other hand, they did not. When you talk about urgency, the physicality that the Detroit Lions played with in all 3 phases is something that really stood out to me, Greeny. And this was a team that it just didn't start last night. They were starving when it came to that Thanksgiving Day game, and they felt some bitterness losing at home versus the Green Bay Packers. Look at these players and the way they're blocking for one another, the sense of urgency that they needed to be able to win this football game, to stay in the playoff race. That's what stood out to me.
And you were telling me in the meeting this morning, Lewis, that a lot of the things that we have recognized as problems for the Cowboys all year long that seemed to be masked or covered up in the last 3 games came back to bite them last night.
Yeah, in particular, it's the prevention of explosive plays on the defensive side of the football. And they're usually are going to come about in 2 ways. One, because of physical deficiencies that you have from a coverage perspective. And you saw that happen last night in the one-on-one situations. They just don't have the secondary people that can cover and that can get people on the ground. Number 2, you saw some communication issues. That started to creep up again. Now, they are still able to create a lot of explosive plays of their own on the offensive side, but in the end, if you wind up getting into a back and forth with a team as explosive as Detroit, your deficiencies are going to wind up coming home to roost, and that's what happened to them. And right now, look, there is no more help to get. There's nothing else they can really do at this point, and that's why now, I think as Bart said, look, this is just one of those situations. They're just going to have to fix this in the offseason.
Yeah, the Lions have Dan Campbell and Calvin Shepard, and the Dallas Cowboys don't. That was the difference in a game.
You thought the coaching was a big difference.
1,000%. If you look at the defensive plan by Calvin Shepard, who's a defensive coordinator, it was very clear. 1, I'm not going to expose my defensive backs early on. 2, on 3rd downs, we're going to make sure that we go double-double. So they take their 2 linebackers, put them into double-A gaps. They're just trying to create one-on-ones for the tackles. Now look at the secondary. Lewis knows this. This is 3rd and 10. All 5 of these guys are going to be just sitting with zone eyes at 10 yards because they know the pressure will get home. Somebody will get a one-on-one and win. And this allows Anzalone to play with vision. Ball comes out. If not, it's going to get tipped. Batted ball away. Then you go in the red zone, which Bart is talking about. Where's CeeDee Lamb? Where's George Pickens? 3 defensive linemen, a spy. But it's really about the coverage. They're going to double both George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb with safety help. Somebody else is going to have to beat them down in the red zone. We created the one-on-one with the tackles. Hutch spins inside, Muhammad over the top. This is the late pass interference. only George Pickens on the field. Who's the only guy that gets double teamed? George Pickens. Then they allow the rush to get home. They're going to make somebody other than George beat them. They're playing man coverage, and they're creating that either pass breakup or offensive pass interference. I thought Kelvin Shepard was very clear. Little one-on-ones early on. They're not going to give you any one-on-ones on third down. Third down, there wasn't a single one-on-one play that mattered when it comes to coverage versus receivers. And it was going to create the tackles for the Cowboys who were the weakness. Get Hutch and Muhammad on them in single pass protection situations, and they'll win.
It's the holiday season. I think we all got a little swept away with this Cowboys miracle story. It seemed to be very festive when, hey, there's this great chance that they go and they beat the Eagles, and then they go and beat the Chiefs, and then they finish the job against the Lions, and away we go, and we're on this Cowboys ride. Everything that was working for them the last few weeks didn't happen. The officiating didn't go in their favor. Those fumble recoveries that Turpin was making and the Elijah Clark on that special teams play, those didn't happen. And then yesterday, I hate to go to special teams, but I think Tom Kennedy is still returning kicks for the Detroit Lions. Every single time that there was a punt return or a kickoff return, the Lions would take it all the way back. Their average starting position was the 41-yard line. They needed everything to go their way last night, and the Cowboys, they lose CeeDee Lamb. They get a very head-scratching offensive pass interference call against them, and special teams wasn't what it's been. So all the great things that we were getting excited about, they didn't go their way, and now they got 8% chance of making the playoffs.
And the thing we were most excited about, or the person we were most excited about during this run, was George Pickens, who managed to emerge over the course of the last, well, really 2 months as arguably the best receiver in the entire NFL. He was playing that way. And then last night, the criticism of him right now, if you're waking up this morning and social media and all of that, the criticism of the effort, the criticism of the approach to the game last night. Harry, you're my receiver. What did you see from Pickens last night?
Yeah, from George Pickens, it can't be a switch that you want to turn off and on when you want to do it. Every single time that you step out on this football field, you have to be dominant, not just in the pass game, but also in the run game. Greeny, I know what it looks like to play with a 1A and a 1B. I played with Roddy White and I played with Julio Jones. And the reason why those two guys were so damn good for so long is that every single time that they took the football field, it was going to be a bloodbath. Whether it was going one-on-one against a DB, whether they were double covered, or blocking in the run game. So for a guy like George Pickens, and I'm watching replays when they show the replay, I'm saying, why is he not running the routes full speed? So for George, it's taking accountability and saying that I'm going to be dominant every single time that I'm out there on this football team, and I'm not going to pick and choose when I want that to be.
Richard Sherman was extremely critical of him after the game last night. And as we watch some of the plays here, there do seem to be several instances where he is, far be it for me to say it, he's not running full speed. He doesn't seem to be running the route with the intensity you normally see.
Like, look at this. This is not full speed.
Yeah.
Dan, what is that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with Detroit sitting there saying we're not going to get up in your face and play one-on-one. We are going to play shell on you. I agree with you. I just think it's a little bit of George sitting there. He's had so much one-on-one coverage over the last 5 or 6 weeks. He knew in those one-on-one situations, balls coming my way more often than not. Gets to the Detroit game, corners playing 6 or 7 yards off. I see a safety over there playing over the top. They're kind of double teaming me with shade. I'm not getting the football.
But see, what we're talking about now, though. See, what we're talking exactly.
I don't disagree.
What we're talking about now is football character. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Okay, what happens when you're out there on the football field and it doesn't look like it's supposed to look to you, or rather, how you think it's going to look to you? See, I think one of the things that were miscalculated about this football game is I heard a lot of talk about the fact that Detroit's propensity to want to play a lot of man-to-man coverage. Do you think Kelvin Shepard doesn't sit there and self-scout himself? You think he's going to go out there and just go, hey, you know what, we're just going to play across the board one-on-one against George Pickens, who's been lighting up everybody all season long? Of course he's going to change it up. And George, you're going to have to adjust. You can't go out there then